So we had the SID Display Week here in the iZone, and who are you?
I'm Alex Hansen. I currently work for South China University, and we're developing reflective displays, electronic paper displays to be precise.
So what are you showing right here?
What we're showing is a prototype of our full-color electronic paper display, which is built up of 3 layers: cyan, magenta, and yellow. And it will be able to show 40% reflectance in a 50% NTSC color gamut.
So
this is the holy grail that everybody always wanted for electronic paper.
So that means great colors and good visibility?
Great colors, good visibility. Lambertian reflectance, that means that the light goes everywhere, not just in this narrow angle. And it's lightning fast. It switches in 3 milliseconds from one color to another.
What is this?
The small one next to it is actually the same display as the large one, but this time is on an active matrix backplane. It shows the actual resolution that's possible with these types of displays. So even the color display is capable of displaying this resolution. Our limitation here is the fact that we don't have the funds or possibilities to design the transparent TFT display that's necessary for that 3-layer system.
So that means you can do active matrix, you can do segmented?
Yep.
So these squares are segmented?
These squares are segmented. They're actually clusters of 625 small pixels that are linked together by the same electrode.
Is it battery powered?
It's battery powered.
Can you take it out?
Yeah, sure.
So is there any chance you can do active matrix like this?
Yes, absolutely. That's our next step.
As colorful as this?
As colorful as this.
Right now I'm using my headlight, but if I don't, it's still the viewing angles. So how is it different from from e-ink, for example?
Well, from e-ink we're using a totally different system. So our system is based on electrowetting. That means we are depending on a very thin film of ink that is covering our pixel. But if we switch on the electric power, then that film of ink withdraws into the corner. And if it withdraws into the corner, it leaves 90% of the pixel open, which is transparent. So we can do exactly the same as ink on paper. Switch a cyan, magenta, yellow color system and have the same colorfulness and the same reflectance as a real piece of paper with printed images on it.
So is it similar to Liquavista?
It is similar to Liquavista, yeah. But we did a different way of mathematics. Liquavista used RGB color filters to make their color panel. And that means that immediately they suffer from a lack of reflectance. Their white state was too dark, so they had to start optimizing the light output again, more or less similar to what a color reflective LCD would do. We didn't cut the corners. We decided to go for the 3-layer system immediately and do the maths that is necessary to make it really bright. And once you get the really bright white state, you get the colorfulness for free. So that's what we did.
And is this showing what's inside?
The 3 layers here are showing what's inside. These 3 displays are the 3 single layers of the display. You can see that by mixing the 3 separate colors, you can actually get all the colors you need. So red, green, blue.
How many colors you can get?
In principle, an infinite number of colors because the system responds in an analog way to a voltage. We do have a display driver that will display 64 levels of gray for each of the layers. And so in principle, we can do 1 million color.
Millions?
Yep.
And these are different demos right here?
These are different demos. So we've made a few demos in various colors. So a red one, a blue one. They're all single layer demos to show that each of the colors works perfectly well with an active matrix at high resolution. We've got a few larger size demos in black and white. Just to show
how's the visibility in black and white compared to like e-ink?
Well,
how's the contrast?
At least the same, I would say.
At least the same?
At least the same. So these are just prototypes and demos. Our contrast ratio can reach 100 to 1.
So that's the best possible? What's 100 to 1? Is it like paper?
Well, 100 to 1 is way better than paper. Paper at the maximum is about 20 to 1. And that is high quality glossy paper. A newspaper does 5 to 1. So anything between 5 to 1 and 20 to 1 would be considered good print.
And so what's the frame rate? What is this demo right here?
This demo is just an example of what you can do by tiling these 8x8 panel displays. Gives some idea of an application. Switching speed is about 3 milliseconds, so we can do something like 200 hertz refresh in this cell.
More than video speed.
Oh yeah, more than video speed. Actually, the refresh time of these panels make them ideal for gaming, because you can actually display very fast changes, much faster than, as I say, most LCDs.
So how long have you been working on this?
The electrowetting principle has been worked on by various people for the last 15 years. We have been developing. It came out of Holland, Philips originally. I am also from Holland.
Oh, Holland, yeah.
Also from Philips. I started in a different area from Philips, so we did electronic paper display, we did a collaboration with e-ink at some point. And over the last 3 years I've been getting more and more involved in the electrowetting system because it promises exactly this, which is something that I've devoted the last 15 years to, which is creating a real reflective color display.
Were you involved with IREX?
Absolutely. I was one of the founders of IREX.
Right?
That was
one of the founders of IREX. It was my dream device. It was amazing. It was just some soft marketing. I guess marketing. Isn't it marketing? It's all about cash and marketing.
It's all about cash, marketing, and finance.
Sell millions. Why didn't we sell millions of the IREX?
Well, one of the things, it was fairly expensive to start with. And the other thing is that when we really needed the money, the economic crisis hit. So that was the end of it. Our bank toppled. So we couldn't simply finance our company anymore.
But Holland stood.
Holland stood, but that's yeah.
And just toothbrushes was left.
Yeah, something like that.
Toothbrushes and
toothbrushes and medical systems, I think.
Oh yeah.
Pills
but
and.
They're great.
And
I love my Philips toothbrush.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
So that's what
so why is your dream the electrowetting?
No, my dream is not specifically electrowetting. What I want to do is make true color video paper. It wasn't there.
That's the ultimate dream of the whole world, of the SID.
Of the SID, but also of the rest of the world. We want to have battery-powered stuff that lasts for years, and we want to make it sunlight readable. And actually, if you write down the specifications, this color thing is getting very, very close to what it should be. Finally.
Is it because you kept improving? Not just like what was the electrowetting of 15 years ago? It's improving?
It's improving. We start understanding better how to handle the electrowetting system. We start understanding better why some of the solutions work and why others don't. And we are getting the opportunity to do test processing and test various optical solutions. So that's helping us ahead at this moment.
But there has to be some issue, right? What's the issue? Is there any issue about electrowetting?
Oh, of course there are issues. There are issues in the sense that it's difficult to maintain the quality. We know how to break these cells, and it's very easy. And so addressing is a very critical item.
Addressing.
So we need to make sure that the voltage isn't getting too high, or that we don't apply too much DC voltage on the panel, just like any other display technology. We're using a DC drive to energize the pixel. That means that if we apply a voltage on a pixel and we switch off the whole panel, the pixel will stay on.
Is it bistable?
Well, it is not in the real sense bistable, but it requires so little power that the pixel capacitor of a TFT panel will keep it on for several minutes. And so we can remove the power and the display itself will stay as it is, including all the gray levels.
So if the dream device comes out and there's like a device with the active matrix, color and everything, and the kids are reading something, how long is the battery going to last?
Oh, to my expectation, a year.
A year?
Yeah, if you don't do anything other with it, such as wireless communication, etc. The display itself can display more or less still information for several years from a single battery. So the limiting factor is electronics. Whatever you do with it to make it more power hungry is going to drain the battery, but it's not going to be the display.
Is this the Guangzhou? Or no,
this is
Guangzhou? And is this a real place?
This is a real place.
In Guangzhou?
Yes.
So what's going on in there?
What we have here is a number of images from our 2.5 generation assembly line, where we put in glass, print our various structures that we need
But
for
it's
the
for
panel.
any kind of other project, or is all
No,
built
this
for
is dedicated for this.
for this project, for
Yes.
the electrowetting system?
Yeah, just for electrowetting.
But what do you call it? What is the name of your display?
Well, we call it an electrofluidic
You call it
display.
the
but we
great,
haven't.
the great display.
Our,
No?
our company is Great Optoelectronics in Hong Kong. We haven't found a name for
I
the
think
display
great.
yet.
is
Maybe
good,
it's a good
name.
idea.
Just great. Okay, so
Will do.
So what's next? You hear the SID Display Week? You're looking for partners to
Yep.
make it even bigger? Or what's the
Yeah, our next step is to find a way to productize this.
To productize.
You've already mentioned that we should go to a higher resolution full color display to demonstrate what it can do. Now, for most of the people inside the display community, this will demonstrate what it can do sufficiently. But building a real high resolution prototype, active metrics, will probably be necessary for the next couple of months.
You can just do it in a couple of months, right? You fast?
If we have the money, we can do it in a couple of months.
Yeah.
Because the development will require making a dedicated TFT matrix panel. And that means that somebody will have to pay for the mask set that will be necessary to do so.
How much
And
does
we're
it cost?
looking for that. Well, typically between $300,000 and $500,000.
But I would think that 90% of the money for display technology comes from China, right?
Yep.
And they're talking about Taiwan and Korea. They need to come with new ideas, but maybe China can come with new ideas.
China is coming with new ideas. You can see that.
Right here.
Yes.
But it just needs to do the last step above
We need to take the last step.
crossing the
Now,
finish line, right?
Interestingly, this prototype is only a month old. So actually, this device itself was manufactured last week in our prototype line.
So you rushed for the SID?
We rushed for the SID. We also would have had the smaller displays look brighter according to the same principle. We didn't manage to get them here in time. So they're still a little darker than they should be.
All right.
So it's so new at this moment that we haven't had a chance to mobilize China yet.
So do you have a children? Or
Yep.
Grand? Not
Yep.
yet.
Yeah.
Yeah. But how, because you need to make the displays ready for when they have to go to school, right? The grandchildren. Are they
Yeah, well,
already-
in principle, yes.
So how long do you have to get it working?
Oh. Well,
Couple years?
let's say I spent the last 20 years trying to make it work. I can manage another couple of years.
All right.